Well, I thought that I was going to take today off and not make any more videos. I actually am really excited about today because there's so many movies and TV shows coming on. I was going to take today and do something that I hadn't done in a long time, which was just spend the entire day, today and tomorrow, just binge watching stuff, like not get off the couch if possible. Because it's been so long since I've done that. You know, I've been so busy with my jobs and then recently with just making so many YouTube videos. But so anyway, I was gonna do that. I was gonna go. We were gonna get off the couch to go see the new horror movie, the porno horror movie X. It looks so good and it's getting great reviews. I'm really excited about that. And then we were gonna watch Deep Water, the new Adrian Lyne erotic thriller with Ben Affleck and Anna de Armas. However you say her name. I'm excited about that, even though the reviews are kind of lukewarm. But I like the old school erotic thrillers, and it's Adrian Lyne who did Fatal Attraction and Indecent Proposal and 9.5 Weeks, which I'm not too crazy about 9.5 Weeks. But anyway, Unfaithful, that awesome movie about Diane Lane where she, cheats on her husband and then the husband gets upset and kills the lover and they have to cover it up. Sorry, I just gave you the whole plot there, but it is good. But anyway, yeah, Adrian Lyne, great. He loves to direct those erotic thrillers. And it's what's sad is that genre has kind of gone away. It sort of peaked in the 90s. You had like Basic Instinct and movies like that and then receded. But I love a good erotic thriller. So yeah, Deep Water, we'll see how that is. And I was going to watch We Crashed with Jared Leto, who's now 50 years old. Must be the best aging guy in Hollywood. Obviously with a lot of help, but even so, he looks good and he looks natural. But anyway, all about the WeWork thing. That's fascinating for people who are interested in, business stories and scammer stories. Or if you're interested in scammer stories, there was a new episode of The Dropout about Elizabeth Holmes that just came out on Hulu last night. That show is so good. It is so good. Speaking of scammers, though, let's talk about Amy Berg because I wasn't going to do a video. I wasn't. And then I saw that ridiculous Daily Beast interview with several things that I found really offensive and annoying. And then of course there was her message on Instagram, Amy Berg's message to Manson supporters on Instagram. So I just want to say a few things briefly. First of all, Amy Berg, it is really amazing to me that you are not only doubling down on all of this, but that you are at least appearing to seem completely unruffled by this lawsuit by Manson, which goes, this lawsuit by Marilyn Manson goes to the very core of your case that you make in the documentary and the case that Evan Rachel Wood, that kooky girl that you decided to do a film with, the case that she's making in the documentary. I mean, it is a serious lawsuit with serious charges and evidence. And some of us didn't even need to see the lawsuit because a year ago we were already hip to the fact that this was a scam and this is a hoax and it's bullshit, because some of us have a good bullshit detector, evidently better than you. Or maybe you already do know it's a scam. Maybe you've known for a while, you just don't care. But, it's one thing. I understand you put all of this effort into this documentary, and so now you feel like you can't walk it back, and you feel like, I guess you have no good response to the lawsuit or to the charges in it, which is why you're not saying anything. Because you're not the one who's being sued, all right? So you can talk. You can say a lot if you wanted to, but you don't have anything to say because there's really no defense, right? I get that in a way. I get that I get the idea of being in denial, or I get the idea of putting all of this work into something and you don't want to recognize that it's a fraud. You're kind of like Elizabeth Holmes in that way, actually, right? She put all of her eggs into this Theranos basket and it turns out the technology didn't work. And so what did she do? She's like, never mind, we'll just put on a smile and keep scamming. And that seems to be your attitude in Evan Rachel Wood's. Maybe you should call up Elizabeth Holmes. Anyway, do a documentary on her and how she's been railroaded. But seriously, I understand to a degree your response. What I don't understand is the doubling down. Okay, that is unconscionable, and not only a doubling down, but to go after Manson supporters and make us sound like we're these like rabid like fangirls and fan guys who just can't accept the truth that our idol has committed these horrible offenses. I get some negative responses sometimes from Manson fans when I say frequently that I am not a Marilyn Manson fan and that I'm not greatly invested emotionally in this situation and the outcome. Some people think that's offensive. I've gotten angry comments sometimes from fans and supporters of mine who don't like the sort of nonchalant way that I talk about my feelings toward Marilyn Manson. But look, I didn't come into this as a fan. I'm going to keep saying it. I didn't come into this as a fan. Even now, I don't consider myself a fan, although I admire the way that he's held up under this. And yes, it's true. What I said in my previous video, I could name 30 people in my life off the top of my head who have bigger problems than Marilyn Manson. I don't say all that to be cold and calloused. I think that what Marilyn Manson is going through really sucks and he doesn't deserve it. But what I'm trying to communicate to you is that I'm not some rabid fan, all right? I'm coming to this from a place actually of truth. And, you know, I started out a year ago or over a year ago on my channel, I started out making videos about Johnny Depp. And my intention actually was to make videos about that hoax. And it just so happens that a few weeks after I started making videos about Johnny Depp, the Marilyn Manson allegations surfaced. And my BS detector went off almost immediately. And the deeper I got into it, the more that I saw that this was an entire hoax. And that Evan Rachel Wood and some of the others are deeply disturbed, and they're all being opportunistic, and that Ilma Gore, you know, as we found out about her a bit later, Ilma Gore is a very sick, pathological person who has run a lot of scams on people. And of course, now I see that Evan Rachel Wood herself is distancing herself from Ilma Gore. But you can't do that, sweetie, because you have tied yourself to her. It's in the documentary, okay? Like I said, it's the Evan and Ilma show. So we all know what's going on here. Can't slither away from it. But I hope you can't hear that loud beeping noise. It's so annoying. No, but seriously, the fact that that Amy Berg is now attacking Manson supporters and attacking and even some could say even sort of mildly insinuating legal threats. I guess not really, but her comment that that she and the others were going to be a shield around Evan Rachel Wood, and we're not going to stand for this behavior from Marilyn Manson fans. I don't know exactly what that means. I guess you're just meaning you'll defend her a lot online, and that's fine. But you're going to have to see over time, Amy Berg. What you know, I feel almost kind of feel sorry for you if you weren't being so belligerent. You're going to have to watch over time while Manson's lawyers and increasingly, I think people from the media are going to start picking apart your story, and people are going to come out. There are more people behind the scenes, I think, who will be coming out with the truth on this. And I think we're going to get a lot of more information in the weeks and months to come and years to come with this lawsuit on what was the shady stuff that's been going on, the pathological stuff that's been going on behind the scenes. And what about your comment, Amy Berg, that Johnny Depp and Marilyn Manson, they weren't really friends? You say in the Daily Beast article that you think that was just basically for show, and that Marilyn Manson likes to take a, you said that you've heard that you found in your research, your extensive research on your documentary, you said that that you discovered that Marilyn Manson basically just likes to go around like taking as many selfies with important people as he can to validate his own celebrity. Yeah, because Marilyn Manson, like in and of himself, like he doesn't have enough star power. He doesn't have people paying attention to him. He's had to really struggle over the previous decades to get media attention. Come on, lady. Look, do you realize how much a fucking stupid statement like that, like you just made about Marilyn Manson and Johnny Depp, do you realize how much that invalidates your credibility? Because everybody who's looked into this knows that they're really good friends. I've read multiple interviews with Johnny Depp. Go look at the Rolling Stone interview with Johnny Depp from a couple of years ago. It's the one that his attorney Adam Waldman shows up in. He talked a lot, extensively, multiple times in the article. References are made to Marilyn Manson. It says Johnny Depp spends basically like the whole night watching Marilyn Manson music videos one night when this reporter is with him. And the reporter even gets upset because he keeps turning up the volume on it and talks about how Marilyn is the best. Marilyn is the best. And you can look and you can see interviews with both of them separately where they reference the relationship and how the two of them understand each other like other people don't understand them. Johnny Depp gave Marilyn Manson a house. Did you know that? Do you do any research? I know the answer to that question. whatever. If you want to keep talking about shit that you don't know about, Amy Berg, and invalidating your own credibility, it's fine. Good. Keep going. I wish you would talk more. Before you blocked me on Twitter, I thought it was really interesting, when we had that DM exchange that I posted on my Instagram, and I only posted it because you were being so infuriating and ridiculous and clearly did not want to have a real conversation. But I sent Amy Berg a DM, and I said, do you realize that you are participating in the West Memphising of an innocent man? And if you don't know what that means, West Memphising is slang for a situation in which someone is being falsely accused of a crime. Amy Berg made a film about these teenagers west of Memphis who were accused and convicted of killing a kid and served time for it. So anyway, my point was in this DM, I said, you realize you're participating in the West Memphising of an innocent man here. And I said, I do wish, something to the effect of, I do wish you would look at the evidence, or can we talk about this or whatever. And her response, it was this really angry response. Honestly, I think she was drunk. It was sent in the evening, and it was a very unhinged response, and it was out of proportion to the DM that I'd sent her. And she actually didn't respond to my actual argument. She just ranted. So I think she had been drinking, which is fine. I mean, lots of people drink, but I'm just saying, I think she sent me an unhinged drunk message, but then she blocked me. I did go on Twitter and try to talk to her again and got no response. But anyway, point is, this woman, I was giving her, as some of you were, I was giving her the benefit of the doubt earlier and thinking, well, she thinks she's this anti-abuse crusader, and these girls are really good actresses, especially Evan Rachel Wood, and she's just gotten snowed. But then I look at her interviews and I see where she's actually saying things that she has to know that they're not true, or she has not even done a basic modicum of research to know that they're not true, or she is in such denial that she just can't accept truth. And all of these are problems, okay? She keeps her timeline is really annoying too, when she talks about how this all came together, because she says that she keeps claiming that these women came together, that they contacted Evan Rachel Wood organically, that what happened is, at first, we were just going to make a documentary about Evan Rachel Wood's pursuit of the Phoenix Act and her domestic violence advocacy. It wasn't even going to be about Manson, ever. And then somehow Manson took over your entire 2-part documentary. Like I said in a previous video, I think you need to get back into the editing room and fix something, because if your intention was not to make the documentary about Manson, you failed on that point. But yeah, we didn't want to make a documentary about Manson. We just wanted to follow her domestic abuse activism and whatever. And then but then what changed things is when Dan Cleary came out in September of 2020, and he said that he had seen Evan Rachel Wood abused, even though actually when you look at his specific allegations, he says he never saw anything. He said she was just in a cloud or something. She was in a dark void. There was a dark aura around her. He's so full of shit. But anyway, so you would have us believe that Amy Berg, that what shifted this whole thing was Dan Cleary coming out with that tweet. All right. And then because of that, because Evan had been in the spotlight, and then because Dan Cleary tweeted that, suddenly you had all of these women who had been abused by Manson who were just naturally, organically contacting Evan. Well, if that's so, then why did Ilma Gore send out these recruitment emails to every woman she could find who had supposedly had a relationship or a sexual encounter with Marilyn Manson, asking them to contact her and to to join up with her and Evan Rachel Wood? I have heard from multiple people, a number of them who can't yet or don't want to come forward, okay? I've heard from multiple people how this went down, all right? They recruited these women. Some of them they recruited through the disgruntled employee, Ashley Walters, the one who crashed Marilyn Manson's Jaguar along with Esme Bianco. Ashley Walters, a number of them were recruited through her, working with Evan and Ilma, and then the rest were recruited through this online recruitment drive. I've seen the emails. Go look at my documentary. Go look at my film that I did with Greta Aurora on my YouTube channel. She was one of the ones they tried to recruit. The emails are there. And I've heard from other people how this went down. Okay, it started with it was a Zoom recruitment. Okay, it started with the emails, and then there was this whole basically this seminar over Zoom in which these women were instructed as to what, basically were more or less guided into what they should say. We've seen the checklist too, right? I mean, that's part of the evidence that Manson's team has provided, is this checklist that they were giving out to these women. But basically they were manipulated over these Zoom meetings, into thinking that they had been abused with some of these crazy new feminist definitions of coercive control and all of that. And then those who climbed on board, they were just brought into the fold. Ashley Morgan Smith line, how many nights did you spend on Evan Rachel Wood's couch? You mentioned that in one of your Instagram responses to Evan Rachel Wood, that you'd spent countless nights on that couch. And then of course you had to delete it because it made you look really bad, because it made it obvious that you had this extensive relationship with Evan Rachel Wood, and it's all a scam and a conspiracy, right? This is not an organic thing, okay? That is just Amy Berg is giving us BS. And I'd like to give her the benefit of the doubt that she's just been scammed. But I'm sorry, this is getting into the arena of willful ignorance, okay? This is getting into the arena of, look, you purport to be a serious investigator and researcher and documentarian, and your answer when someone brings up to you these very serious charges that Marilyn Manson has made in a lawsuit with evidence, with receipts that he brought, your response is, I'm not interested, can't say anything. And then you fabricate this stuff about Johnny Depp and Marilyn Manson not having a real relationship, something that so many people know is bullshit, and that just doing a basic bare modicum of research on the internet, looking at a few fucking interviews with these guys, with Johnny Depp, would have told you. And then you give us this BS timeline about how these people just... And look, Amy Berg, if you weren't planning on talking about Manson, and if this whole Dan Cleary tweet in September of 2020 that you say started the whole thing, if that was really something that you weren't expecting to happen, that tweet, why is it that you had a film crew already in Evan Rachel Wood's kitchen to capture the moment when she sees Dan Cleary's tweet and then gets all excited? You know? Why have a clearly staged scene like that centers around Dan Cleary? You knew beforehand. And of course you knew beforehand. They're all working together. It's all in collusion. And you're working with them too. So you knew what Dan Cleary was going to do. You probably helped set it up. And then you've got this full camera crew ready and waiting for the moment that Evan Rachel Wood just happens to randomly see that Dan Cleary has come out and affirmed charges that she hasn't directed yet at Marilyn Manson. But this gave her the courage. This gave her the strength to come forward. And conveniently, it gave your documentary a really catchy focus, didn't it, Amy Berg? You would have us believe that it was just going to be this boring Phoenix Act documentary, and you were fine with that. After you had done the expose on the Catholic Church, and after you had done that open secret thing about pedophiles, you were just going to do this tame documentary about plucky Evan Rachel Wood just trying to change the justice system. Yeah, right. It was going to be a Manson hit job from day one. Okay. Or at least from day one that you started taking it seriously. Come on. There's just so much BS. There's so much BS. But I just want to reiterate to Amy Berg my offer to her that you still have an option here. Here's the thing, Amy Berg. This is as good as it's going to get right now. You're enjoying your publicity. You're enjoying, kudos from ignorant people who don't know any better about your movie and all of that, right? But what's going to happen, okay, is that over the coming months and the coming years even, you're going to have to watch as piece by piece your credibility and the credibility of this film and the credibility of Evan Rachel Wood and the accusers is torn away. It's going to be kind of excruciating. And at the end of this, you're going to be known as this discredited director who was integral in this, in probably one of the most elaborate media hoaxes ever perpetrated. So yeah, you're going to have some notoriety, but it's not going to be for what you want. And you know, as far as I can see, the only way to keep this disaster from one day being your epitaph, your obituary, the main line in your obituary, which I'm telling you it's going to be, because look, the mainstream media, and if anyone out in the mainstream media is watching, I know that there have to be some people in the mainstream media who are watching me. All right. You guys and ladies, you still have an opportunity to break this story, but I'm telling you, this, whether you believe it or like it or not, this is going to be a huge story one day. Some of us are lucky enough to have gotten in on the ground floor on it. It's not just me, but it's others who are on this too. And there's a bunch of them, you know, Stand By Your Manson, Celtic Iron, Dr. Soup, you know, E-Hacker, and Greta Aurora, and Karis Soper, and on and on. Marilyn Manson Uncanceled, bunch of people. Okay, go look at their websites, go look at their YouTube channels. But we are insignificant and small. No one in the mainstream media has yet bitten into the astounding truth that is just waiting here. It's just waiting here for someone to pick it up. So look, I'm just saying, one day though, it is inevitable. One day, this is gonna get its day. Every dog has its day. Well, one day this story is gonna get its day, and people are gonna be astounded. One day someone is gonna make a movie about this, and I'm not just talking about a documentary. I know some of us are talking about getting a documentary together, but I'm talking about a movie. Okay, and I just would like to say, if I make it into the movie, I would like Rachel Weisz to play me. But anyway, and Tom Cruise can play Celtic Iron. No, all right. But no, I'm serious. Tom Cruise is a little old, but he looks young, right? Tom Cruise is a very good dermatologist or plastic surgeon or whatever. It's not natural. I mean, I can tell you he's having a ton of work done to look like he looks, but damn, he does look great. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. What I'm saying to you, Amy Berg, is this. The only way that I see that you can save yourself, your reputation, from what will ultimately be a great downfall, and a great media embarrassment, when someone with some guts finally cracks this open, or when the legal process takes its toll and truths are finally brought to light and have to be acknowledged, like what's about to happen in the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial, or when what I believe is going to happen, I believe people are going to get arrested. I think that Ilma Gore and Evan Rachel Wood are in profound legal trouble and will be in legal trouble. And I think that Evan Rachel Wood is going to be arrested. And Ilma Gore, I don't know what happens when you're a foreigner. Is she just going to be deported? I don't know. But anyway. So Amy Berg, there is one way to get off this Titanic. Okay, there's one way. See, you're on the Titanic right now, but you don't know it. Right now, you feel like it's kind of like when the people in the movie Titanic, when they first got on the Titanic, like for those first few days, they're like, wow, this is great, you know? We got all this great food, and it's so fancy in here, and it's this big boat, and the sun is shining, and I'm flying, Jack, and all of that. But that iceberg is up ahead. And what's happened, Amy Berg, that Marilyn Manson lawsuit was the iceberg. You hit the iceberg and you don't realize it, okay? And what's happening now is your boat, your Titanic, it is starting the process of taking on water. But you can't see it because you're like one of those idiots in the first class, right, who's on the upper decks and they're just like dancing around and having a great time or whatever, right? You don't know that at the bottom of the Titanic, it's filling with water. But what I'm telling you is there is a lifeboat for you, Amy Berg. All right, there is a lifeboat if you will take it, and that lifeboat is the truth. And I'm telling you, I'm not even joking right now. I said this before. People think I'm joking. I'm not. You need to make a documentary about this hoax, and it will be so sympathetic too. You can put yourself in it and be like, I was scammed too. That would be a compelling story. People always think it's fascinating when an artist or a filmmaker or someone gets scammed or gets catfished or whatever, right? So jump on it, get ahead of this, make lemonade out of lemons. But here's the thing, this lifeboat, this documentary, this third installment to Phoenix Rising that you could make about the truth, okay? You're not going to have this lifeboat available to you forever, all right? Because other people are going to start jumping on eventually. And this lawsuit's going to proceed. And like I said, I think law enforcement is going to move against these women eventually. And it's going to be too late then. The lifeboat will have sailed on, all right? Billy Zane has already grabbed that kid, and he has already jumped on that lifeboat, and he's gone, all right, in this scenario. So you have to get on the lifeboat before Billy Zane takes it away. The Billy Zane reference is kind of ironic since He used to live in the apartment where Manson lived, right? And so was it Billy Zane who actually built the rape room? Can we blame Billy Zane for the rape room? No, anyway. Yeah. So you need to get in that lifeboat. Get in that fucking lifeboat. Start working on a movie about the truth of this. I'd be happy to help you. I've been doing a lot of research. All right. And I can cry. I can fake cry on camera too, as I've demonstrated before. I just need a little bit of prep. Anyway, so yeah, that's what I would tell you to do, Amy Berg. But I'm going to stay on this, and a lot of us are going to stay on this, and this is not going away. So you can put out your warnings, and you can put out your veiled threats, and you can, you know, send me drunk, ranting DM responses, and you can block me, and you can do all of that, and you can make these snide remarks about these crazy, obsessive Marilyn Manson fans who, oh my God, sent you some horror DVDs in the mail. Did they even send it in the mail? Wasn't it just like on your Amazon wish list? I don't know. Hey, if any Manson haters out there want to send me free DVDs, I can actually set up a list and let you know what I would like to have. Although DVDs, I know, a little passe. Could you just like send me like digital, you know, copies of things? No. Yeah, so that's where I am today, Amy Berg. Come on, wake up, get with the program, or one day you're going to be sorry. And not because me or any other Manson fans are going to do anything to you. You're going to be sorry because this Titanic is going to sink one day and you will have let the lifeboat go. All right, everybody, as usual, please support my work. Check out my videos. I have been working like a mad motherfucker the last 2 weeks, ever since the Manson lawsuit came out. And so I appreciate any support, any tips, subscribe, whatever. The links for my PayPal and Patreon are below. And like I always say, you know, think about what you'd spend on a shitty movie on Amazon and give me a tip instead. No, y'all have a great night, great day, whatever. I'm going to see all these movies and I'm going to do a movie review on X as soon as I've seen it. And I'm going to post it to Instagram because I want you to know how it is. All right. Bye-bye.